I'm the one that's like got sinusitis and bronchitis,
Yeah.
from the
All the
same
itises.
environment, all the itises, but, from this mold that's not impacting anybody else in our circle and certainly not anybody else in my home.
So the answer is that you have to be extra mindful of reducing the other stressors, because the other stressors, meaning things in your diet that add stress, emotional stress from work and
Yeah.
other things like that, like all of those stressors that you can control,
Hmm.
you have to be more mindful of
And
them.
it does get
Because
worse the more stress I get. That's when the
yeah,
bronchitis,
yeah.
symptoms it starts to set in. And I do think stress hurt. Like I'm not creating this in my head.
Oh, I know you're not creating it.
And you've seen this.
She takes on way too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That is true.
so then when you see the symptoms popping up, do you reach for a pain reliever, or do you take it seriously and say, whoa, 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 I got to dial the stress back to free up some resources so my body can deal with this?
Mhm. I
You
plead
don't
the
have to
fifth.
you don't have to answer that question.
Well, I left a
That's
job after calling you crying, like
I
having my under the
know.
table moment, like I'm about to
Yeah.
have a nervous
But now you have
breakdown.
2 jobs, so like that
No,
didn't work.
four.
That's one of those like proverbial questions
But I
for
think,
everybody in the audience.
but you
Yeah.
overachieved a bit though. How did you manage the transition between going from a CPA, owning your own firm, to becoming a doctor? That was some overachieving. How did you balance that? And what are some mistakes that women make when managing like health symptoms that could be related to stress?
So I like to say I was the earliest victim of midlife crisis. So when I tell you that that these symptoms can start in your mid 30s, it's how to ask me how I know, right?
Mhm.
So I started working at an accounting firm a few days after I turned 16.
Oh my
So by the
gosh.
time I was in my mid 30s,
Oh
I had
wow.
worked in the accounting firm, honestly, with the same group of people for 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So, you know, I I literally have been working since I was like 9 years old. And so I can totally relate to the overachieving, burning the candle at both ends person. Um, so when I started to kind of understand how backwards our approach to health and healing was, and seeing the signs of toxicity um, accumulating for myself, I turned to alternative methods and saw how beautiful that worked, and that, like, there was no turning back for me, right? And I already, because I had been doing it so long, and because it had just sort of been the thing that I went into kind of not even intentionally, like I just sort of fell into it because I was so young.
Mhm.
I was ready to do something different. And fortunately, because I was only in my mid to late 30s, it wasn't that big of a deal, honestly, to
Mhm.
reinvent myself. It wasn't like I was trying to do it at 60, right?